A 74-year-old man collapsing in his bathroom, not from a heart attack or stroke, but from a habit he'd practiced for 50 years, masturbation. Not the act itself, but how he did it. Dr. Majid Kara, a men's health specialist with 60-plus years of experience, reveals how 4 common habits, once harmless in your 30s, become silent saboteurs after 62. These mistakes quietly damage circulation, erode intimacy, and accelerate aging. If you're over 60 and feel your vitality slipping, this video could save your health and your confidence. Stay until the end to uncover the #1 mistake 9 out of 10 men make. Let's dive in. Mistake 1. Rushing the act, triggering vascular panic. Rushing through masturbation isn't just a quick release, it's a vascular emergency. When men over 62 force fast stimulation, their heart rate spikes, blood vessels constrict, and fragile arteries struggle to handle sudden surges. Age reduces arterial elasticity and nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps blood flow smooth. Over time, rushed sessions cause microtraumas, stiffness in pelvic veins, and numbness during real intimacy. The body starts treating pleasure like a threat, tightening blood vessels instead of opening them. Men blame age or stress, but the real culprit: chronic overexertion in private moments. Solution: slow down. Treat masturbation as a mindful ritual, not a race. Let your body stretch, not sprint, to preserve circulation and sensitivity. Every rushed session accelerates wear on your cardiovascular system. Imagine your arteries as flexible hoses. When you're young, they expand easily to accommodate pressure, but decades of rapid, forceful stimulation train them to stiffen under stress. This isn't hypothetical. Studies show that abrupt spikes in heart rate during arousal correlate with reduced endothelial function, the inner lining of blood vessels responsible for nitric oxide production. Without enough nitric oxide, arteries lose their ability to dilate efficiently, starving tissues of oxygen. In the pelvic region, this creates a cycle. Less blood flow means weaker erections, prompting harder, faster stimulation to compensate, which worsens the problem. Men often dismiss occasional numbness or fatigue as inevitable signs of aging, unaware that these are early warnings. Microscopic tears in vein walls caused by repeated strain calcify over time, turning temporary dysfunction into chronic issues. Worse, the nervous system begins associating intimacy with danger, triggering adrenaline floods that constrict vessels, further a self-fulfilling prophecy of diminished pleasure. The solution isn't abstinence but reprogramming. Start by setting a timer, commit to 20 minutes instead of 5. Use lubricant to reduce friction, allowing slower strokes. Focus on sensation, not climax. Breathe deeply, letting your heartbeat steady. Over weeks, your body will recalibrate, viewing arousal as a relaxed, sustainable process rather than a sprint to the finish line. Mistake 2. Masturbating with high pelvic tension, ignoring breathing. Most older men unknowingly hold their breath, clench their pelvic floor, and tighten their bodies during masturbation. This tension strangles blood flow to the penis, the organ most sensitive to oxygen and relaxation. Shallow breathing signals the nervous system to brace, not release, plummeting nitric oxide levels. Over decades, this habit trains the body to associate pleasure with stress, weakening erections and dulling sensations. Solution: focus on deep diaphragmatic breathing. Relax your shoulders, abdomen, and pelvic floor. Let your breath guide the rhythm. Inhale to open blood vessels, exhale to deepen connection. Your body thrives on cooperation, not control. Pelvic tension is a silent saboteur. When you grip your glutes, clench your jaw, or arch your back during stimulation, you're triggering the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. This diverts blood away from non-essential organs like the genitals to muscles needed for survival. The irony? The very act meant to generate pleasure becomes a stressor. Over time, habitual tension leads to pelvic floor dysfunction, where muscles stay locked instead of rhythmically contracting and releasing. This doesn't just impair blood flow, it disrupts communication between nerves and muscles, causing delayed or inconsistent arousal. Consider the pudendal artery, which delivers blood to erectile tissue. If surrounding muscles are rigid, the artery compresses, reducing oxygen delivery. Meanwhile, shallow breathing deprives tissues of carbon dioxide balance, essential for vasodilation. Many men chalk up these changes to aging, but they're largely lifestyle-driven. Reversing this requires conscious effort. Begin by lying flat, placing one hand on your chest and another on your belly. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, letting your abdomen rise. Exhale through pursed lips for 6 counts. Repeat until your breath feels effortless. Apply this during masturbation. Inhale to fill your pelvis with warmth, exhale to release tightness. Gradually, you'll notice a shift, your body learning to relax into pleasure instead of fighting it. Pair this with pelvic floor exercises, for example, kegels to regain control over tension patterns. The goal isn't to eliminate effort entirely, but to replace unconscious strain with intentional rhythmic engagement. When pleasure becomes a dialogue between breath and touch, you reclaim the body's natural capacity for deep, sustained arousal. Mistake 3. Daily masturbation without recovery, draining your libido reservoir. The human body operates like a finely tuned machine, relying on balance and rhythm to sustain vitality. For men over 62, this balance becomes increasingly delicate. Daily masturbation, whether once or multiple times a day, acts as a silent thief, siphoning critical resources like testosterone, dopamine, and nitric oxide. Testosterone fuels libido, muscle repair, and energy. Dopamine drives motivation and pleasure. Nitric oxide ensures blood flow to arousal tissues. When these are depleted faster than the body can replenish them, the consequences ripple outward. Blood vessels, already less elastic with age, struggle to repair micro-damage from repeated engorgement. Hormonal feedback loops slow, leaving men in a state of perpetual deficit. The symptoms are unmistakable: physical numbness where touch feels muted or inconsequential, crushing fatigue as if the body's engine runs on empty, and emotional detachment, a fog that dulls connections to others. One patient described it as going through life in grayscale. These aren't signs of irreversible decline, but signals of exhaustion. The body isn't broken, it's begging for rest. A marathon runner wouldn't sprint daily without rest days. Similarly, sexual health demands cycles of activity and recovery. Spacing sessions by at least 48-72 hours allows hormone levels to stabilize, nerve sensitivity to reset, and pelvic floor muscles to recover. Mindful masturbation transforms the act from a reflex into a ritual. Instead of rushing to climax, focus on breath, tension release, and full body awareness. This approach preserves dopamine reserves, enhances pleasure quality, and trains the brain to associate arousal with presence rather than escape. For men trapped in cycles of guilt or compulsion, reframing masturbation as a tool for self-awareness, not a stress valve, can reignite intimacy with oneself and others. The goal isn't abstinence but intentionality. Quality over quantity, renewal over depletion. Mistake 4. Using porno that hijacks the brain, starving real intimacy. The brain's reward system evolved to prioritize survival, food, connection, sex. Modern pornography exploits this system, delivering hyper-stimuli that drown out natural cues. Extreme visuals, novelty, intensity, rapid scene changes flood the brain with dopamine, far beyond what real-life intimacy offers. Over time, dopamine receptors downregulate, akin to turning down a volume knob. Pleasure becomes harder to access. Men report needing louder, faster, or more shocking content to feel anything, a treadmill of escalating consumption. This desensitization doesn't just dull sexual response, it fractures the mind-body connection essential for arousal. Real intimacy relies on tactile feedback, eye contact, and emotional safety factors that build anticipation and trust. Porn bypasses these steps, training the brain to associate arousal with instant gratification, not mutual vulnerability. The pelvic nerves, overwhelmed by artificial inputs, grow sluggish in responding to real touch. Erectile quality declines, not due to physical damage, but a miswired nervous system. The solution begins with a porn detox. Removing high-intensity stimuli for 30-90 days allows dopamine receptors to recalibrate. During this period, men often rediscover subtle pleasures, a partner's scent, the warmth of a hug, or memory-based fantasies rooted in lived experiences. Rebuilding intimacy requires practice. Start with sensate focus exercises, non-goal-oriented touching to reawaken nerve sensitivity. Engage in conversations about desires without performance pressure. Masturbation itself can aid recovery if redirected toward imagination or erotic literature, which engage the brain's creativity rather than passive consumption. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire, offers hope. By replacing artificial stimuli with human connection, men can restore their capacity for deep pleasure. The journey isn't about moral judgment, but reclaiming biological equilibrium. Intimacy, after all, isn't just physical, it's the art of being seen, a dance of mutual energy that no screen can replicate. Conclusion. These 4 mistakes: rushing, tension, overuse, and porn dependence don't just affect your body, they erode confidence and relationships. But change is possible. Slow down. Breathe deeply. Rest. Choose connection over compulsion. Men in their 70s and 80s have reversed decline by making these shifts. You're not too old. Start today. If this video resonated, hit subscribe and turn on the bell for more life-changing tips. Drop a "still standing strong" in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your vitality. Thank you for watching. You deserve to feel alive, connected, and confident at any age. Stay curious, stay strong, and let's rewrite your story together.